to address the issue that we had. Well done. So now next up is also the prize for the coolest shoes of any presenters we've had so far. And I'm not being sarcastic. I think those are really cool.
You're probably one of the few people. Everyone just berates me for them. Ready? Everyone can hear me? Cool. All right. So my name is Eric. I'm the CTO of SimpleReach. This is Zanab. She's one of our data scientists. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we do at SimpleReach. You can tell she's so excited to be standing there. Just everybody give her a wave to make her feel good. Come on. There we go.
Oh, it does feel nice.
All right. So at SimpleReach, we think about the web in two different ways. We think about it as the pre-social web and the post-social web. And what you're looking at here is our view of the pre-social web. And what the pre-social web is if you take a site like the New York Times or TechCrunch, when you wanted to engage with that content, when you wanted to look at that content in the pre-social web, you would go to the homepage. You would visit the New York Times, you would visit TechCrunch, you would visit New York Post, whatever it is that you read, and you would consume your content in that fashion. And in order to find out exactly how, please go back. In order to find out exactly how well that site was doing, in order to measure it, there were measurement tools that were created around that. And to find out how to find out how your site measured on those tools, you look at ComScore, you look at Quantcast, you look at Nielsen. And on the site level, which is what those measurement tools were designed for, they did a great job. Now fast forward a little bit to the post-social web. And on the post-social web, there's a different type of consumption that happens. You no longer go to the homepage of the New York Times. You no longer go to the homepage of TechCrunch, though some of you may. You take advantage of social curation. You jump on Twitter. You follow the people that are interesting to you. You jump on Facebook. You take a look at what your friends are sharing. And then you engage with the article directly. You go directly from your social curation. You go directly from your piece of social media real estate to the article. And no longer is the site level information as valuable as it was before. Now you need to know what's happening on the article level, because no two articles, even within a site, act exactly the same. Each article is a snowflake. It's an island unto itself. So what does that mean? That means that in order to really take advantage of seeing how the entry points into those articles look and like getting a good idea of the way that people enter through these articles socially. Last year, in 2012, there were on average, there were about 340 million tweets per day, about 684,000 pieces of content shared on Facebook every day. Brands were receiving 34 likes every minute. WordPress bloggers were publishing 350 new blogs a minute. And if you combine Instagram and Flickr uploads, you were getting about 6,500 images every minute. And think about what that's done for a site like Pinterest, right? These social media sites are huge. So you take all that data, you put it together, and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with it, how you're going to make sense of it, and who you're going to call to find that out. Well, those guys probably won't be too helpful. But we can be a little bit more helpful than them. So what are we doing about that? We're building a measurement layer for the social web. Next slide, please.
I'm clicking.
All right.
Oh.
That's the guy. Okay. So what we did is we took all this data that we see on the social web, and we built a tool for content publishers to see how people are engaging with their content at a social level. So we gave publishers, guys like People, Time, USA Today, Fox Sports, MTV, these publishers need to know how their content does. So we gave them a little bit of JavaScript. They put it on their page, and from the instant an article is published, we track all the social actions that happen across the web in real time. And we present it in a beautiful dashboard like this. As Dane said, presentation is really important. So we present it in this beautiful dashboard, and not only do we give publishers the ability to see how it does in real time, We are also the only ones out there to give content publishers the ability to search and mine that data historically. But one of the things we came across was that even with the right tools, we found that about 80% of the work of building this system, of building any big data system really, is acquiring and refining the raw data into usable data. I mean, that's not something that a lot of people are really aware of. So what is that really trying to say? Well, basically we're trying to say out with the bad and make sure you keep only the good stuff, in this case the unicorn. So how do we do that? And to talk a little bit about how we do that, I'm going to have Zanab come out and tell you a little bit about our data science team, maybe.
It's a little fussy with the clicker. But hi, I'm Zanab. I'm a data scientist with SimpleReach. And so just to start with sort of the scope of the scale of what we're looking at, we see over 200 million social events every day, which you guys know because you can all read. That, if you want to break that down, that's about 4 million tweets a day, and on average it's about 1 million articles, but obviously it varies. And everyone has sort of different definitions of what they consider big data to be. Like some people consider big data to be when it doesn't fit in Excel anymore. I consider big data to be when you can't load it into memory, when you have data sets that are big enough where a large Amazon instance is still not going to solve the problem. That's when you get into really big data. So in order to process that and make sense of it, it's pretty unreasonable to expect that anyone at a publisher level would be able to make sense of that volume of data. And of course, you get that volume of data from looking at thousands of publishers, which we do, and tracking all of their historical data. So what we've done is we created a score that sort of distills all of these different disparate data points and tries to predict how content will be trending socially. So that's basically what we do. And the reason that this is important is, as Eric had mentioned previously, we've got the pre-social and post-social web. So before, when people were looking at articles sort of on a publisher site level, that really changed the dynamic of how people were consuming and interacting with it. Now, as people are looking at things on more of an article level, you see a lot of cross-network pollination. And in order to really make sense of that and to make it as useful as it can possibly be, you need sort of a third-party broker. And that's just something that we discovered just sitting on top of the sheer volume of data that we do. Again, as Eric had mentioned previously, anytime you have this sort of situation, like Nielsen for TV ratings, there's always sort of some sort of third party that, that serves as really as a data broker. And that's sort of what we're trying to do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Justin, you next up.